Hello everyone, Brony 44 here, and this is going to be the second episode of the Meet a Brony series. And last time I kind of screwed up on how I ended my last episode, and I made that as an annotation at the end of the first, but I'll be sure to actually make mention of what I forgot to do before at the end of this episode. So when I'm done answering, be sure to stick around so you can hear what I had to say about that. Anyways, for this, there's just going to be one question this time around for this video, because I have a feeling that it may go longer for this question, because I may end up elaborating on this. So, if this is suddenly a short episode, sorry. But if it is long, again, sorry. But if you stick around, you're awesome. But anyways, the question that I got asked on here that I'm going to be covering is, let's say, what's that say? Also, even notice I'm not wearing my glasses because I have my bigger monitor up at this point. So and this thing behind me, by the way, that's going to be going hopefully today. Hopefully we'll be able to get that out today. So this should be the last time you see that thing back there. Anyways, the question I got asked today, or not today, but you get my point. It's what is your greatest fear? That's an interesting one. In a way, my greatest fear, in a way, I'm kind of living it out already. Maybe not quite as bad as it could be, but it definitely could be a lot better before it would get worse. At least as far as I would hope, anyways. My greatest fear is as simple as this. The fear of being lonely. Like, I feel like my greatest fear is to be by myself and no one there at all. Like, there's no one there as a friend or anything like that, just me completely on my lonesome. I say that I kind of been living it out because almost my entire experience throughout middle school and high school was pretty much going just like that. I was always the kid at school that didn't really speak out a lot. I was always the kind of kid who just sat at the lunch table and just ate his own lunch and just minded his own business. And I was actually, it's just because, I guess, of the whole shyness thing, I guess, and the fact that there was a lot of topics that kids were talking about in school that I had either no interest in or I knew nothing about, or both. But it was because, since I had no interaction with other students and stuff because of that shyness and such, that it kept me on my lonesome. Like, it made me pretty much alone in the school setting. In fact, at that point, pretty much the only people that actually had steady communication with was my parents, and that was actually it. That was the entire setup for the entire way through middle school, pretty much. And for most of high school, it was only up until, I'd say, my junior and senior year of high school, in which things slightly got only a little bit better, into which I took a risk and I tried to get a little bit more open with some of my classmates because I realized that those were my last couple years there. So I decided to take a huge hit against my will and took the initiative and tried to get out more with them and see, just what can be done. And for the junior year, it didn't turn out very well because there was very limited options for me to do. For whatever reason, that school year, we were limited on field trips, activities, and such. And I couldn't join a sports team for there because the only teams that our school had for almost the entire duration that I was at the school was basketball and soccer. Both sports in which I'm not a big fan of. I don't hate either sport, I just don't like them. I mean, I kind of do with soccer, but I only played soccer for like 2 years, and that was I was just like, meh, I'm done with it. I was a good goalie, and I occasionally played, I played a defensive role, for there. And occasionally I played halfback, so I got forward and back. But that was for like 2 games, and that was because we just wanted to try something new. Anyways, though, so it didn't exactly work out for me in terms of junior year for that. Senior year, though, I got a little bit more forward with it and it made some progress because thankfully there was a couple of, senior trips that we were able to have. We were to do a senior trip and we were able to go to Six Flags, have a huge, set up for freaking. We had like a huge box seat set up for what was it? We had to go to a baseball game. We got our own private box seats and stuff. I can't remember what the hell the damn team was now. It's gonna bug the heck out of me. But we got that. We had our senior trip to Six Flags. We had our senior prank on our principal, and oh boy, was he probably pissed when he came inside. And then finally, also the main thing was that we actually got our teacher or our school staff and stuff. They finally enabled themselves to get a different or a third sports team or a sport that they want to do. So instead of just soccer and basketball, they actually added baseball for the first year there. And I had told someone that I knew in my class that I would play for the baseball team if the instant that they put it up there, only if he did it as well. So I kind of dragged him in here and in there with me. And by the way, his name is Seth. But he was pretty much like the one dude in my school who I actually considered to be a potential friend. Like everyone else is just like, an occasional acquaintance, I guess. Or I guess that's the right word. But anyways, we played baseball on there, and we had good time there. We sucked. We lost every single game and such, and that was pretty much our only setup. That was like our only real thing that we could actually do. But I'm saying all this because this is all I was able to do throughout my years of middle school and high school in terms of getting together with others. But once we graduated, everyone ended up going to a different state for college. Most of them ended up going to Florida for a college. And I ended up staying here instead because I could not handle going to another state like that. I know for a fact I would get homesick, and I couldn't do that. I had to stay where I was. And unfortunately, no matter how many times I tried to keep in contact with them, saying, "Hey, let's get some kind of get together going and such," I would rarely get a response at all. And if I did, they would say, "Sure, yeah, let's get it together and such," and then I wouldn't hear anything back from them for like a month or anything like that, and it would just be something completely irrelevant to what we discussed last time. And I would take a look at some of their Facebook things on there, and there they are with new images of their most recent get together, and I wasn't invited or anything. It was just like, hey, we did this, and here's all the people who were here, and then there's me here, sitting here looking at my screen, seeing a bunch of these pictures and such, and it's just like, I'm just left behind. And with that, and the thing was that the person that I actually texted about the whole get together thing was the one person I thought in school that was actually my friend, which was Seth. And that made me realize that really wasn't the case in terms of that. Also, I'm gonna bounce back a little bit to the whole being lonely thing. In middle school and high school, there was a lot of times in which, even though I was off on my own and such, a lot of times others would come to me for help, whether it be for homework or just standard advice, or they needed my help to actually physically do something or whatever. Like, you name it, I pretty much had that kind of a request. And I even had a weird request in which I had to give a girl advice on how to break up with a guy. And that was completely nerve-wracking, because that put me completely on the spot, out of nowhere. But pretty much all of those situations, it was, I would end up helping each person out with whatever it was that they asked me to help them out with. And then I would get, like, a small thank you from, like, maybe a fifth of the people that actually, that I end up helping. And then that's it. It's like, they pretty much, like, use me in a way. It's like, okay, it's like, cool, he helped me out with this, and now I'll just go back to completely ignoring you and such, and now I'll just pretend you don't exist. Like, I would help someone out with, some kind of, like, big project or some kind of, like, like, something that he had to do. And then, like, after I help him out, like, less than a week later, we're in school, and he treats me as if we never met. And I'm just like, why? Unfortunately, though, it still hasn't really, it hasn't improved, at least yet, in terms of, physical friends, in a way. Because I'm currently in college. I'm working on my 3rd year there. Strangely enough, at my college, and I'm fairly certain that this is not the case in just about any other one, but in this one, there's really no communication between students. Students don't really seem to want to talk with another. It's pretty much they walk into class, they get their shit done, and then they leave. It's pretty much just like, I don't want to say that it's like a circuit or anything, or like we're zombies, or they're zombies or anything, but like, it's pretty much what my dad says sometimes, same shit, different day. And it's just like, you can't do anything. It's just like, you just go in there, do what you have to do, and then you leave. No one really cares about anything else. No one gives a crap about anybody else who's there. It's like everyone just cares about themselves, and then that's it. And anyone else is in the way, just screw them. Things aren't completely downhill for me, anyways, in terms of my greatest fear of loneliness. It's not completely bad, because I still have my parents and such in order to communicate with, and, they're still there to help support me and such. And there are a couple, I literally mean a couple, like two people that I know of from some online games I play, in which I can actually consider them my friends. But the main issue is that out of all the people that I play with on there, there's only 2. Out of the hundreds of thousands of people I've met on there, only 2 are even people that I could even consider to be some kind of a friend to me. And I almost view it as completely impossible for me to even be able to meet up with them at any point in my life. Only one of those 2 actually can manage to come. Could we actually organize some kind of a visit? But most likely that will never happen. And that frustrates me to no end when I think about it at the occasional point, because it realizes that I'm still, in a way, alone. Oftentimes, though, I spend a lot of my time on the web. That's pretty much how I spend most of my time is on the web, whether on YouTube or games or whatever. I spend my time on the web a lot, and some of the things that I do on there relate to my experiences. In fact, and let me give an example. One of the main things that I find myself doing, and it's not really something like I think much about until, well after it's already done, but I find myself finding people who are troubled, like emotionally troubled, whether they're upset or angry or whatever, or depressed, and I find out basically what it is that's going on with them. It's like if they already mentioned like what it is that's giving them the issue, it saves me a step. But if they don't, then I try and poke around a little bit to figure out what's giving them the issue. Then I spend as much time as I can and doing whatever I can in order to try to pretty much lift up their emotions, their depression, or whatever it is that's troubling them. I pretty much try to do whatever I can in order to help them out. There's a lot of times in which people have some things that, a bunch of bad stuff happen to them all in a row, and they feel like the entire world's crumbling down upon them. I pretty much feel like even though I have that same feeling sometimes, it also gives me an advantage in that because I can relate to it. And that kind of gives me a goal for myself. Like, pretty much I view it as my goal is to make sure that no other individual that I meet should feel as depressed as I have ever been. So if there's anyone out there that I've met or seen or anything like that who I can tell is absolutely not in at least an okay mood in terms of sadness, depression, anger, whatever, or even confusion for crying out loud, depending on the situation, I will do whatever the hell I can to make sure that they get out of this situation much better than they would have if I wasn't if I wasn't helping out. I'll give a vague example of one situation in which I actually helped someone. This individual, she's actually someone who is currently subscribed to me at this point, and for that, I'm glad that she's subscribed to me just simply because I helped her out, but she didn't really have to do it. I mean, I simply just did what I had to, and what I felt like I had to help. But I'm not going to go into specific details as to what the situation was, and I also won't describe who it is in specific. But pretty much, on one of her videos, she stated that it was pretty much like a depressing, themed music on there, and she was feeling a little depressed about it, and in her entire description, in the title, it said "Rest in Peace," and then it had a name next to it. And I saw that when I was browsing videos, and I was like, what's going on? So I clicked on the video, and I read the entire description. It was a huge description, but it gave it a huge in-depth analysis of pretty much her situation, and I could tell after reading that exactly how she was feeling, because something like that, like her situation in which she actually went through, I actually went through something in a very similar situation, so I knew exactly what kind of emotions she was going through, and I could tell that she was probably not going through it the right way. She was probably not viewing it in the best way possible. So I actually commented on that video pretty much what it is that she actually needed to do, in terms of how to view it, and basically I said, in a way, I basically said, when things get difficult, actually hang on, let me pull up the comment right now. Okay, I found that comment. I'm going to read off exactly what I said, but I'm going to try and not say the name of the whole rest in peace thing, because again, I don't know if she is really, sure about me actually talking about this on here. And if you are watching this, ma'am, if for whatever reason you don't like the idea of me discussing this on video or anything like that, send me a private message and I will take this down and I will cut this section out and then replace this video back up. Because I don't want to talk about something like this and know that it's going to bother you. So if it is, let me know, please. The comment that I left on her video said, "It's only normal that you'd be heartbroken from this. It shows that you are human and that you have a strong heart. It's moments like these, though, in life where you have to stay strong. No matter the pain or sadness you may be feeling, you must not view things that way. Instead of remembering the negatives, remember all the great times you had with," and then I inserted the name of the deceased member. I truly do believe that there are people out there who have situations way worse than me in any way, shape, or form, and the differences could be minor and they could be major. But if is someone out there that I meet, whether on the web or in personal, who I can tell definitely has things going from them much more downhill than myself, I do whatever I can to try to make sure that they get pretty much essentially on their feet. I don't like the idea of someone feeling depressed, because I don't like the idea of others feeling as troubled about any other situations as I have in terms of some of my situations. So, and I guess in a way that also relates to my greatest fear is my greatest fear is me being completely alone in my life, as well as not being able to help others in their time of loneliness. I guess that's another way of labeling it as my greatest fear. And it's a good thing that I did decide to do only one question, because this is well over 20 minutes already. Damn. I knew I was going to go off on a tangent on this. Alright, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and say the thing that I mentioned in the beginning. At the end of last episode, I did not include this on here, so I had to make an annotation, but I want this to be an interactive series as well. So, if you guys want to participate in this, in the comments section below, if you want to participate, answer the question that I answered as well, and leave a comment down below, and let me know what is your greatest fear. One thing that I really want to get from this series, I want to be able to know the people who are subscribed to me on here. People who are subscribed to me, I want to know about you. I want to be able to treat each and every one of you as if I actually had you guys as a friend. So, don't do it because, I'm not saying that you have to do it in any way. Only comment on the questions and such and participate in this that you feel comfortable doing so. If you don't feel obligated to participate in it, don't worry about it. Then don't leave a comment about it. But, anyways, that's going to be it for this session. So, if you manage to stick through all the way at this point, you are awesome. And, if you enjoyed this video at any capacity, at any way, please leave a like down below. And, if you have not done so already, because, why would you not, right? Then, leave a like, click up here in order to subscribe, and I'm getting my out of order. Anyways, that's gonna be it, everybody. So thank you all for watching. This is Brony 44 saying, see you guys later.